to be happy again.
Well, hello, vinyl community. Elliot here, Lazy Dogs Records, and this is Let's Travel, a entry into Randall Nelson's contest. He's over 200 subscribers, been in here more than a year now. He's got a great channel. I'll put a link below to his channel, to the video that introduces this contest in case you're not familiar with it and want to get in on it yourself or want to subscribe to his channel. I highly recommend it. Shows a wide variety of music. He's got excellent taste, and he's not limited. You know, he's got very broad taste in most anything you can think of. So his contest, and I'll try not to make this a very long video, so that, you know, because he'll have a lot to look at, a lot to view. His contest is called Let's Travel. He wants to show an artist or band from our area, be it our city or region or state, province, whatever, and then show a album or song that is about where you live or your state or whatever, and then show an album that illustrates a place you'd love to travel to, you've either been to or would like to go to. So here we go. And the first two are kind of interchangeable. I can use them for either of the two prompts. So first, an artist that is from where you live. About 15 miles from here is the largest. I live in a town called Lillington, in the center of Harnett County in North Carolina, and we've got the largest town, which is 10 or 15,000 people or so, is a town called Dunn, which is in the far eastern edge of the county, and out of the area right around Dunn, which would put it about 15 miles from here, is emerged an artist that we all know, and this is an album I think a lot of people have shown in the vinyl community, and it's Link Ray, and this is the self-titled album that came out in 72 or so, I believe. And Link Ray, of course, his first fame came from in the late 1950s, Link Ray and the Raymen, and they had Rumble, and then they did several other instrumentals that were very important, power chords, fuzz guitar, that sort of thing. He's kind of responsible, at least to one degree or another, for those types of things. But Link Ray, of Native American descent, lived out in Harnett County outside of Dunn, and this is a repress, of course, of one of his albums. And included on this album is a song that he wrote called Black River Swamp. And that's an actual place, not too far from here. Black River is kind of a river, and it's kind of a swamp. So Black River Swamp makes sense. In our county is kind of unusual geographically because we go from one end of the western end of the county, rolling hills, to the eastern end of the county, very flat. And we're kind of in the division within our state, geographical division of the Piedmont and the coastal plain. It splits right down our county. So in the eastern part of our county, it's very flat. So Black River just kind of meanders, flattens out, and kind of becomes a swamp, more or less, and then meanders back out and goes its way. But so that's an artist. His family moved when he was, I don't know, 11 or 12 years old, something like that, up to the Baltimore, the Chesapeake Bay area of Maryland, but he spent his early years, and supposedly he said he learned his first chords on the guitar from a traveling musician, maybe in a circus or a medicine show or something that came through the area. is where he learned his first little bit on the guitar. Okay, and then we have an album about our state that talks about or tells about our state. And I'll show you this one. This is the Steep Canyon Rangers, and this is called North Carolina Songbook, live from Merlefest, April 28th, 2019. And this was a Record Store Day 2019 issue. And and there's North Carolina. And this album is by this North Carolina bluegrass band doing songs related to or by North Carolinians. For instance, they do Stand By Me, which B&E King is originally from North Carolina. They do Don't Let Your Deal Go Down, Charlie Poole and the North Carolina Ramblers did. Earl Scruggs also did it. It's also a bluegrass song. Thelonious Monk from Rocky Mount. They do Blue Monk. So there's some avant-garde, I guess you call it, or, what do you call Thelonious Monk? He's very different than most everybody else. Done with bluegrass instrumentation, Blue Monk. Tommy Gerald, the great old time fiddler, Drunkard's Hiccups. Elizabeth Cotton, the acoustic blues guitarist, finger-picking guitarist. Shake Sugaree, her song. James Taylor, a great singer-songwriter, Sweet Baby James, they do on here. Going to Carolina on My Mind would have been a good one too. Ola Belle Reed, who's a folk artist who honestly, I do not know her work. So I'm going to have to look into I've Endured. And a Doc Watson song, Your Long Journey, which he co-wrote with his wife, Rosalie, Your Long Journey. So there is an album about my state from the Steep Canyon Rangers. And to show you 6 degrees of separation, the original upright bass player for the Steep Canyon Rangers is I think we figured it up, I think it's my 4th cousin. He's not with them anymore. He wasn't with them, and I think he left the band after about 15 years or so, maybe in 2015 or so. But my daddy's first cousin, my daddy's first cousin was Thelbert and Minnie Wilson Dean that ran a little store. Their daughter was Vivian. So that would be Thelbert and Minnie Wilson would be my second cousin, so they were my dad's first cousin, right? Their daughter then would be my 3rd cousin, and Vivian's child, Charles Humphrey, would be my 4th cousin. Is that right? Vivian's 10 years older than me or so. Charles is much younger, so I think he's my 4th cousin, but I'm not sure what band he's playing with now, but he was with Steep Canyon Rangers a long time ago. They called them our last cousins, I think, because I never knew him. I barely know Vivian, but I knew Vivian's mom and dad when they were living. Okay, I'm rambling. I love to ramble. And the 3rd prompt is a place you've either been or you'd like to be. I'm going to show you a place I'd like to be because I haven't ever traveled hardly any at all. I know Randy said that he did a lot of traveling. It's one of his favorite things. I envy him for having the opportunity to do that. I've never really traveled much. When my daughter was in middle school, we went with the theater group from our school to New York and saw a play and did that sort of thing in New York for 2 or 3 days. And when I was a kid in middle school, about seventh grade, summer after 7th grade, I had a friend that had moved to Dixon, Tennessee, near Nashville, and myself and another friend, our parents put us on a plane and we flew to Nashville. They picked us up and we spent a week or so with our good friend who had moved away the year before. And so I've been that far west to Nashville. Is as far west as I've been, but that's been more than 45 years ago, almost 50 years ago, and about 50. And I've been to the Caribbean on my honeymoon, and I've cruised down on a cruise ship one time down to Mexico and Jamaica and back. And that's it. That's the only places I've ever been. I want to go to the American West, the Southwest in particular. So I'll show this album. Marty Stewart and the Fabulous Superlatives, Way Out West. This is a really good album, and it really gives you that feel of the Western desert. It's kind of I don't know how to describe it, but it's got that feel to it. So way out west, I want to go to places like New Mexico and Arizona and West Texas. That's the area that most intrigues me, I think. And I'd also like to go further up into the Rocky Mountains in Colorado and Wyoming and those areas. But that's about it. Anyway, there's my contest entry. Link Ray, Steep Canyon Rangers, and Marty Stewart and the Fabulous Superlatives. Okay, Randy, I do appreciate your channel and enjoy corresponding back and forth with you on your videos and my videos. It's been a pleasure, and I hope it'll continue for many years to come. That's my entry, and I will remind everybody, be kind to your neighbors, folks, because we're all neighbors.